Good day, viewers. Welcome back to Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio. That is I. Got a question for my viewers out there. Of all the signs that I bring out with me during Saturday morning secular humanist activism, been doing this for many, many years. The question for you is, which sign of mine do you think angers Christians more than any? Number one, this one has been used for years, a little beat up and old. Ask an atheist. Number two, here's one I've used for years. If you can read it, there you go. Number three, probably my favorite, the one back here, secular humanism, good without a God. By the way, that does not imply that there is a God. Kind of like Nietzsche when he said God is dead. He didn't imply there was once a God. He's dead. It's just the idea of God. Christians understand what this means, actually. Or number four, church-state separation. All right, drum roll, please. Think about it a little bit. Are you ready for this? The answer is, by far, bingo, my favorite. Good without a God. Angers believers. Now, there is a way that I have developed, a system I've developed through lots of trial and error. Been doing this for years, going out with signs and actually talking to people and normalizing atheism and educating people of an alternative to theistic religion, which is secular humanism. So there's a system and a way that I've developed, and it's not perfect. And I continue to learn and grow. I still make mistakes. Make many mistakes, but that's how I learn, by going out there and developing something that's very different than most people's approach to activism. Normally it's debate and arguing. We keep doing that, but there's something we can add to that, right? So here is my system, my style of how to defuse these situations. Now, many believers are not angry. They just come by and they'll do this, or I'm praying for you, or you need Jesus, or whatever. Okay, the normal stuff. Others come and talk to me. The angry ones, there's a way to diffuse it. Let me give you 3 quick examples of instances that happened recently on Saturday mornings. Had a 35-year-old man, make it short and sweet, approach me. He was not happy. He was very angry. I looked for body language. I've learned to look for these things, these indicators. And he didn't like the signs. He didn't like secular humanism, the whole thing. So he started on his thing of how humanism's ruining the country, church-state separation, there shouldn't be a wall, this is a Christian country, humanism doesn't work, Christianity makes the world better, the whole thing. Now, I noticed he was very, very angry. Now, my past technique of firing back and becoming reactionary like he was does not work, at least for me. When you do that, when you are reactionary to their reactionary attitude, they only blow back. In other words, they put up that wall even more. They're not going to listen to an opposing worldview. Here's how I have diffused it with this gentleman. First thing I did was, well, good morning. You never said good morning. And I said, let me first of all tell you why I'm out here. I showed him my cards. By the way, I've got a couple new ones here. The national secular groups, promoting them. The local Austin secular communities. And my new one, what is humanism? I passed these out. It actually gives definitions of what secular humanism is. And I said, look, I am out here simply to talk to people and promote the groups in this city and nationwide for those of us who were once Christian who miss, now notice what I'm saying here, who miss the good part of church. Now, if you're still at your angry stage of atheism or your adolescent stage of atheism, you're not going to like this. But if you're healed up and you've matured into your secular humanism, you understand that defuses an angry Christian. He went from this to this. Oh, well, good stuff at church? Yeah. And I explained the community, sharing with each other, feeding homeless people, groups together, loving each other. And I explained that this is simply humanism, right? So I approached that situation, which started out with his anger, and then I began to answer his questions. He already broke down his wall somewhat, and I told him I'm not out here to argue and debate so much as I am to just educate people. So I told him of the shared values we have, the same interests. We're very similar in a lot of ways because we're all human. Of course, we have differences. Now, keep in mind, I have not completely thrown the baby out with the bathwater. There are times we have to get angry. We have to push back. When they approach, the Christian right approaches rights and freedoms for everybody, right? Church-state separation, public schools, science, all the other things. We have to push back. Now, by that time, after I explained things to him, that I'm not out here to take away your rights as a believer, I'm out here to just help people to find communities for secular people. Now, I also did some other things. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now, number two, a woman came up to me, probably in her mid-50s, not too much younger than me. She was angry. She walked by, yelled, "What's your standards for good if you don't believe in a God?" I get that all the time. She was angry. And I had to defuse this situation before she could even listen. She's in an outrage because how dare you say you can be good without God? How dare you come out here and demand equality? My way, Christianity, is above your ways. I've got rights to have buildings on every corner with Jesus crosses. Christians can be out here pushing their worldview, but how dare you, as an unbeliever, as an atheist, how dare you come out here? It's supposed to be equality. Now, to diffuse this lady, I did the same thing, explained to her what we do, what I do. I'm not trying to take away your rights to believe in a God. As long as you don't pick my pocket or break my leg, I save that for later when she's ready for it. I first have to diffuse the situation. She was ready to talk. Again, her anger, her countenance, and body language altered from this to this. Oh, she left. Both of these people came back for a second round. She started walking back, and this time she had a different look on her face. And I said, "You're coming back. You're not going to yell at me, are you, like you did the first time?" And she kind of actually smiled. She goes, "No." She did say, "Sir, I would like to have one of your cards." Not for me, of course. I'm not changing my mind. I said, "Of course. But my son is going to seminary, and he would be interested to hear about what secular humanists do in their communities." So there's a way to diffuse these angry situations. It doesn't always work. I have a young lady that comes by almost every Saturday morning. She is filled with anger. I've tried everything with her. I've tried the approach of defusing. I've tried sharing with her that we all have common moral decencies. We share ethics and morals in many, many ways. Of course, we have some differences, but she wasn't ready to talk about the differences in a civil manner. She was very, very angry, and she continues with it. And I sometimes have had to ask her to leave. "Will you please leave?" Because of her shouting and so forth. Now, what did I accomplish? What do you accomplish with this style of activism, of defusing angry people? Well, number one, it's always a win-win situation. I tell people that have gone out with me through the years, it's always win-win because number one, you normalize atheism because you will be the first atheist, the first secular humanist that many people have ever seen or talked to. When they walk down this trail in urban Austin, or whether I'm in San Antonio or up in Georgetown, wherever I go, they have never encountered a real life flesh and blood atheist or humanist. They hear about us, but they never talk to one. And when they see my smiling face and how I react to people and talk to people, it does somewhat normalize it. So it's a win-win situation. Number two, what else do I accomplish? Well, I accomplish information. I actually educate them and inform them what secular humanism is and what an atheist is, what he looks like, what he acts like, what we do in our groups. very similar to Christians because we're people. Contrary to what they've been taught and told through the years, through their preachers and through the Bible. And of course, it's not a pretty story and sight to hear what they say about us. So they actually hear it from us, which is better. What else do I accomplish through this style of defusing angry believers? We find common ground. The common ground is we're all human. And that's my number one message to them. Now, when we get to the point when their anger is down, they're ready to talk, then they're ready to listen about the differences that we have and how we can have friendly dialogue, discourse, and dissent without hating each other. Another thing that is accomplished out there is you're planting seeds. Now, we don't know, I don't know, the thousands of people I have talked to through the years that approach me with my signs that are still believers. I don't know where they're at in their journey in life. Many of us went through that journey of deconversion. They might one day come to a point in their life when they have doubts and fears and questions. But they will remember you. They will remember me. Those of us out there that explain this to them, this totally different worldview, without hatred and without anger. And of course, my last point, what do I accomplish out there for all those that just come by and walk by and look at the signs? I could tell you so many stories of individuals that will be across the street, that walk by 50 meters away and look at the sign and watch their facial expression. Some of them are like this. Some of them are confounded. Some of them are angry. Others, you can tell they're thinking. They look at the signs. It makes them think. They walk off. They come back and look again. And they walk off. You have no idea the effect just reading these signs does. Because frankly, my friends, there are too few of us out there doing this. And the reputation we have as unbelievers out there is not good. We've got to change that. We've got to show them that we are similar to them because we're just human, that we can be good, moral, happy, loving on the other side of the fence, which I talk about a lot. So I hope this helps you to go out and do this type of activism and talk to people. Remember, we must defuse these angry people and show them a better way. So thank you so much for watching. And remember to let the light and the compassion of secular humanism shine. Have a wonderful day.
What are we doing, man? What are we doing?
No, you're done.